Year 11, Season 2, Attacker Tier List. I'm not going to waste your time, we're just going to jump straight into it. We're going to rank every attacker in the game, including the brand new Dokkaebi remaster. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it with Ace. Ace is still an S tier operator, arguably one of the best in the game. In my opinion, the best hard breacher. I know a lot of people love Thermite, but in my opinion, Ace is better. Amaru, I'm going to go C tier. When she works, she's really, really good. Those, you know, rushes where you just take everyone out, they don't suspect it, is good. But it only happens once every 10, 20 attempts. She's not consistent enough. Ashe, in my opinion, is A tier. She's still really, really strong still to this day. She's just simple and she does soft breaching very well from a distance and she has a good loadout. Everyone loves Ashe, not going to change. She's always going to be in the meta just because of her simplicity. Blackbeard, I'm not familiar with shield operators. I don't really know if the shield meta is still technically going on. I'm debating with A tier or maybe high end of B tier. He probably belongs in A tier. I think the shield meta is still somewhat here. Maybe not quite as good as when they first released it and released him, but he is still quite good. Blitz, I'd probably go high end of B tier. I don't think he's quite on the same level as Ashe and Blackbeard. Brava, I think, is also an A tier majority of the time. And what I mean by that is every single round, she's going to be a minimum of an A tier. But if you have a team composition on defense that consists of, you know, like Aruni, Capcan, Maestro, someone like that, that Brava hard counters, she immediately becomes an S tier. If you see those types of operators, swapping to Brava can literally be round changing. Buck, in my opinion, probably A tier. I mean, he's still quite good. He's similar to Ashe where, you know, just simple, but the fact that he has to get up close to the wall is a little bit of a hindrance. Capitao, for me personally, I'd put him B because I don't play him much at all, but I know not everyone agrees with that. I think he is a good operator in the right hands. It's just my hands are not good with Capitao. Deimos, I'm going to go up an S tier. I don't know why his icon is slightly bigger than the rest here, but he is a very, very strong operator. Again, in the right hands, if you play this out well, give comms to your teammates, you don't have to even engage in the 1v1. Just the intel alone, he's such a strong operator. But next up, we have that Dokkaebi remaster, and this is an interesting one because I think Ubisoft remastered her because she was too consistently good. Like, literally anyone and their grandma could play Siege, play Dokkaebi, and you'd be like an 8 out of 10 majority of the time. All you needed to do was call people and you give the whole team intel on everyone on defense. So they remastered it to kind of nerf her, but I think they potentially made her better. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but Mute and Tuberal no longer counter Dokkaebi calls properly. If you're called as Mute or Tuberal and you try to freeze yourself to stop the call as Tuberal, doesn't work. If you're playing as Mute or you try running into a Mute jammer after already being called, doesn't work. You still have to manually turn it off. So I don't know what's going on there, but in my opinion, she's got a little bit stronger, and obviously she deals damage now as well. I don't know, I feel like that might be a bug or it might change because right now she's extremely strong, probably better than Deimos. I wouldn't go better than Ace though. Finka, in my opinion, just B tier, just very situational. You gotta hit the button at the right time, and even when you hit it at the right time, there's still just better operators to be picking. I think a good Blitz player is better than a Finka majority of the time. Flores, I'm also gonna go B tier, good for that utility clear, is good for like getting the walls open and stuff like that. There is niche situations where he's good, but there's a niche situation where every attacker in Siege is good. And in my opinion, I think he should be tier. Probably better than Blitz though. After that, we have Fuze. I think one of the most underrated operators in the game right now. Again, really good at clearing utility, but also really good at potentially getting kills, flushing people out of certain spots, and he has a really good loadout as well. I think if Fuze wasn't a 3 armor, like a 1 speed, he'd be played so much more. Glaz, in my opinion, I don't know how I feel about Glaz. I mean, a good Glaz player can literally clutch up. I'm putting that out there. A good Glaz player is amazing, but for majority of the times, I'm going to go C tier. I'm going to go next to Amaru. I think they're one of the worst attackers you can be picking on a regular basis anyway. Obviously, there's those random times where you pick a different operator and it works. That's this kind of category. After that, then we got Gridlock. I think Gridlock still is underused, underutilized, and underappreciated in the community. She got buffed this season. In my opinion, she was top end of B tier. I don't know if she makes the jump up to A. I haven't actually played her yet this season, so maybe I need to give that a go. But Gridlock is a good operator right now. I recommend you give her a go. Grim, I'm going to go up an S tier. I mean, there's a reason why people in Pro League and in Champ play Grim all the time, and it's because if you play him right, the intel is ridiculous. He's always in the meta in those higher ranks. If you're low rank, maybe don't use Grim, but if you know what you're doing, Grim's an S tier operator and you know that. Hibana, I'm going to go A tier, probably not as good as Capitao, but she is good. Hard Breach is always going to be good. If Ace and Thermite is banned, Hibana's always a good third pick, but she's not better than those two, if you know what I mean. I think she is the worst Hard Breacher in the game, and while we're on the topic of Hard Breachers, Thermite is also an S tier. I think Ace and Thermite, two of the best. Ace has the benefit of throwing it from range. With Thermite, you've got to be more intentional, you've got to have your back covered, that kind of thing, but the holes are bigger, so it does work out in that way as well. I think they're both good ops. Iana, I'm going to go B tier. I mean, right now she's in a weird spot where her clones last a long time. You can gather a lot of intel, but no one really wants to do that because you can just drone, you know what I mean? And you're wasting a lot of utility, or not wasting, but there are operators you could be bringing that would offer more to the team than Iana. IQ, I still think to this day they should make it or remaster her in some way where you can use her primary weapon with the gadget active. I think that should be a thing, like a little heartbeat sensor or something, like from COD. I think that'd be cool, but right now she's just very underwhelming. I'm just gonna go B tier. Jackal, again, I think Jackal might be the worst he's ever been in Siege. When he released, obviously he was broken back in the day, back in year like what, 1 or 2, and since then he's just been gradually getting worse. And with the introduction of Deimos and now the Dokkaebi remaster, I think all of these operators that kind of fill his role are just better than him at what he does. He's very lame in my opinion. Next up we have Kali. Now Kali's another interesting one. I think every sniper operator like Glaz and Kali, you don't want to be picking very consistently. But in those niche situations where Thatcher, who is an S tier operator, especially on certain maps and bomb sites, is banned, then Kali's a great alternative, because not only are you disabling the counter hard breach gadgets on the other side of the wall, you're actually destroying them as well. So if you use that when someone's bandit tricking, you can eventually just brute force your way through that wall. And Kali is the only operator who can do that. I want to also briefly talk about Maverick, because he kind of does the same role, but he just has a better loadout. I'm going to go probably high end of B tier. I'd say he's probably better than all of these operators in B. Actually, I think I'm going to swap there. I think that looks a little bit better. After that, then we have Lion going right next to Finka, but a little bit better actually. He's very similar to Finka because obviously it all depends on when you press that button. Press it at the right time and then push, it's great. But if you don't, you're wasting your utility. You could be bringing someone better, but I do think Lion is a lot better than Finka. I think his gadget in general is just better. Monty, I'm going up in A tier. Anywhere in A tier is fine. I know people don't like shield operators, and I know there are people out there who only play shield operators. A good Monty player is literally insane. Nokk, I'm gonna go, I might go D. That might be the worst operator we have so far, and it's not even the fact that their gadget's bad. I think fundamentally they're just a flawed operator, because being invisible to cameras is good and all, but when you're still you can still see them moving if they're sprinting, useless. I don't know if you'd go D tier, but I think I'm going to leave one operator in D tier, and right now it is Nokk. Nomad, I'm going to go up in A tier as well. For solo Q, you could argue S tier, but I'm going to leave her in A because she's good. She's a good flank watch operator. She has a decent loadout in the right hands, that kind of stuff. But just for solo queue, she's like a must pick. After that, then we have Osa. I'm just going to go low end of B. Just one of those operators that are just mid, to be honest. Ram, I'm going to go high end of A. or S? She's very close to an S tier operator. I think it depends on the map, which is what's making me think high end of A. Like, I think her and Brava are like the two operators edging on S tier right now. Let me have a quick zoom out so you can see the remainder of the operators. But let me know what you think. Should Brava and Ram be in S tier, or is that too many operators in S? I don't know. Raura, with the buff, has made her viable again. I'd probably say lowest A tier operator. But with the buff that they did to her, she's so much more enjoyable to actually use. And I've just realized you cannot see, so I'm going to put my camera down there for the remainder of the video. Sens is very bad. Obviously, if you throw them down in the right spots, they can be somewhat useful, but a smoke grenade thrown down at the right time in the right place is also just as good, if not better. The only benefit is that obviously Warden can't see through it anymore. That was a good change. I think I'd say Sens is a better operator than Nokk. So I'm going to put Sens up in C. Sledge, in my opinion, he's very simple, you know what I mean? I'm going to go B tier just because other operators like Buck, Ash, they can just do his job but better. But Sledge is never going to be banned, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Snake, I'm going to go S tier. The intel he can still gather to this day is incredible. When he released, I thought Ubisoft were going to buff him, nerf him, sorry. But they never did. He's still just as strong as when he released pretty much. And even though we've had him for a full season, there's still not really any way to counter him properly. He can still just get free intel and there's nothing you can do about it. Striker, I'm gonna go A tier. I'm gonna go A tier. I'm gonna go low end of A tier. I think depending on what map and stuff, the extra secondary gadget can be crucial. Depends on the map and how you want to play, but great operator. Twitch, I'm gonna go high end of B tier. I don't think they're quite A tier right now. Is that true? I mean, I've put Striker in there. Okay, maybe swap these. Maybe that looks better in my opinion. I'm just not a big Twitch enjoyer. I think the F2 is very good, but if you like the F2, just play Snake. You know, I don't know. Ying, I think, is a low end of A tier operator as well. I think when thrown at the right time, you can blind a whole room of 5 people, run in there and get an ace. Like, she's that strong. Zero for solo queue, very strong. I'd say A tier. The only problem is when you deploy his gadgets, they're extremely loud and can very easily just be shot before you use them. So I'm going to go high end of B, but I do think he's strong. So I don't know. What do you guys think? And then finally, we have Zofia, who is now a 2-speed again, which is a buff, but I think she's still a B tier operator. And she's another one of those operators that has essentially 2 impact grenades, just a slightly better sledge roll. With that being said though, that is my finished tier list. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Who did I place in the worst spot? Like, is Jackal being this low? Is that the worst take in this video? Let me know.